Hi everybody, welcome to Paper Wishes Weekly Webisodes. I'm Lene Gehrig and I have got a fantastic collection of stamps from our friends at Stampendous. These are Franz clear stamps. We've got mystic wings, mystic birds, dogwood, and wildflowers. I can't wait to show you what my friend Debbie did with these, so come back and play with us. So Debbie did make a whole bunch of beautiful cards, but I just managed to squeeze in a couple of these and I thought I'd start with those. So this is the dogwood stamp set. It is so cute and it's got all these great sentiments, and what I like about it, it's got a sentiment for the outside and it's also got one that you could use on the inside. Remember, did I? Yep, I did. I was like, did I do it inside? So on the outside, sending you heartfelt thanks today and always, and on the inside, a friend who strengthens you with prayers, blessings, with love, and encourages you with hope, which that's beautiful. So for this card, I wanted to show you, you can use this stamp in a couple different ways. So for this one, I used Tri-Blend alcohol markers, but I also did a watercolor version of it that I'll show you in a moment. So the paper pack that I used to cover my 5 by 6.5 inch card is Sweet Pea 12 by 12 patterned cardstock and the solid cardstock. And then I like to use Hunky Dory lightweight essential card block for my stamping paper. It's a really nice weight and it takes the color really nicely. I used that, and then I actually used, we've got 2 inks that you could use for using alcohol markers with. So this is alcohol proof dye ink, and this is Noir Black by Spectre Noir. And this one is Tuxedo Black and by Memento, and they're both water-based inks, so they do not mix or muddy the alcohol with alcohol markers. So that's important to remember, to get your right inks. So what I did was stamped on the white cardstock, and then I've got Coral Blend, Pale Pink, and Dull Green Blend. And I've got a sample right here that I stamped. So I wanted to show you, first I started off with, if you're not familiar with Tri-Blend markers, they're lovely. They are 3 pens in 1, so that's the darkest shade of a coral. And then the medium or mid. Ooh, this one is dry. This one's gonna have to get replaced. You know when it's dry when it's making a noise like that. That's the medium color, and then the light color. Ooh, also very dry. Ooh. Anyway, you get the point. That's how that one works. I don't even know if I can color this card with this one, so we'll do it with a small flower. So I take the darkest color, and I'm just going to go towards the base or the center of the dogwood. And then I just kind of go up the center line a little bit. And then I go to the medium color, which, as you recall, is very dry. We'll just color a little tiny space. And we're just blending that medium color with that dark color. And then we're going to the lightest color to finish. And I did want to refer to our money saver while I'm doing this. It's on the right-hand side of the screen. And if you're watching us on YouTube, look below the video in the description box, and we have a link that'll take you to this Paper Wishes webisode page. Wow, that's so dry, I can't even finish that. All right, so you get the idea. Maybe we could zoom in a little bit on that, Steve. And then we're taking the dull green for the leaves, and I like to do kind of the darkest color on the outside of the leaf, kind of the striped part of the leaf. And then we're going to color right about there with the medium color, and then we have the lightest color all the way there. All right, and then with these flowers I used the pale pink, not the pale pink, the pale pink blend, and I just started off with the darkest shade right in the center there, and then went to the lightest one and just colored those petals like that. And then once I was all done here, I took my tiny little scissors, and when you're cutting, I find it's easier to turn the paper. So watch my scissors and notice I'm really not going to be turning my scissors, I'm just turning the paper. And it gives a nice smooth cut and it's quicker. And you also want to cut with the center of the jaws, not at the tip. When we cut at the tip, that's where we get those little, I don't know, like it kind of ends sharply, and then you can get really sharp kind of jaggy edges there. So there's a place to use the tip of your scissors. But when I'm doing cutting like this and I want to try to have a smooth edge, I just try to use the center of the jaws. Just like this. Oops. And then all the way around. Kind of like that. So that's really easy to do. Now let's take a look at how to get an entirely different look using watercolor. So with this one, I used watercolor. We have a whole set of watercolor cards. Okay, the entire card is made of watercolor paper. And on the front of this one, you can see I stamped, I white embossed the dogwoods there. Okay, so you would want to use a clear, translucent clear. This is a watermark. Both of these are great for stamping clear ink. And then while that is still wet, you sprinkle on some white embossing powder, which oddly I forgot to grab. And then you use a heat gun and you heat that, and it gives you a raised embossed image. Right? And then we're going to take a watercolor brush, which is so great. It's already got the water in it. And these come in a 3-pack. And we're going to take a couple of different colors here. I've got, these are water reactive inks, so they blend really well with water. And so I've got fuchsia and I've got jelly bean pink. This is a shimmer ink pad. It's got a nice little bit of shimmer on it. And it's a dye ink, so it's also water-based. And then for the leaves, I've got the pine and ocean blue for my background. I'm just going to be coloring a little bit here to show you how to do each of these parts. So the first thing we do is just take our brush and just do a little bit of the darkest ink. And what you can do is just take like your craft mat or something plastic. Let's try that. And you just take your ink pad and just smoosh it like that, so that you have kind of a palette that you're working with, and that way you're not getting water all over your ink pad. And maybe we can zoom in, Steve, and we're just going to be coloring at the base. That. Okay, now I'm going to take the jelly bean one. I'm going to be doing the same thing, just another little speck over here. And the jelly bean has just got a really nice light pink, but it's also very sparkly. So I'm just going to cover the entire petal with that. And then when I'm done with that, I'm going to take a little bit more of that fuchsia and just go along the top. Okay, so I'm going to be doing that on each petal. I'm just going to do a couple more and then we're going to move on. Oops, wrong color there. And what's nice about watercolors is you can move very quickly, because you can color the surface of each petal and then you can go back and add all the details. And I am not a painter, you guys, not even a little bit. So I know if I can accomplish something that I'm happy with, I know you guys can too. Absolutely, 100%. I'm gonna get a little wipe here, clean off my brush. All right, and then we're going to move on to, this is the pine tree. And we're just going to cover And then once you have the whole thing covered, kind of go back with a little bit more ink on your brush and do the base like that. All right, and then we're going to take blender brush. They come in a pack of 4 like this. And we're going to take the medium size one. Here, I'm going to clean this up so I don't get a card in it. There we go. And we're going to take the ocean color. Just blot that a little bit. And we're going to go around the flowers, kind of leaving some white around it. And I'm not going to do the whole card, but we'll do half. All right, so you get that idea there. Always, always, always wipe off your blending brush. All right, now what we're going to do is we're going to take a little bit of the blue, and then you can just go in and paint around the flowers, kind of fill in that white spot. And then when you're all done and everything is done, you're going to take some water. You can either use the spray directly on this. What I like to do is, we've got this sort of splotchy look on here, the watermarks. I like to just spray a little bit on my fingers and then kind of do this. Okay, and that gives you that splotchy look. You can also just spray, but that's a little bit finer mist. If you're really wanting those watermarks to show, it's kind of another way to do it there. And so you can see here, we've got those little splotchy watermarks. So you know what, try it out. Get some watercolor paper, some watercolor cards, and try out using the watercolor. You can use a regular brush. I like using the water brush, especially for beginners, because it just supplies water as you're going. It's very nice. All right, and then along the bottom edge right here, I went ahead and added some pearl and pastel thin line dazzle stickers in these pinky color. And then on the inside, I went ahead and just did a little corner there and a little splattering. Went ahead and stamped the inside greeting and added another border. Okay, maybe we can zoom out a little bit, Steve. All right, so let's move on. This is one that my friend Debbie made. Okay, using the wildflowers. And she covered her card with some paper. This is from Tulips and Butterflies, pattern cardstock, and she's also using the solid. And then she did her mats here using the 12 oval and scalloped cutting dies. Stamped her image and then just colored those in. She used a primary color script greeting dazzle stickers. And there's the primary colors, but there's also black and brown. She used a really nice green one right there. Then some thin line dazzle stickers. These are colorful thin line dazzle stickers that she put around the outside edges, okay, in rows of 3. And then she decorated her flowers using these sweet little jewel dazzle stickers. And if you've never used those before, a jewel picker is really handy to use. Here's one that I've already used here. So it's got a large end and then a small end. You can use either. But for these tiny little ones right here, you can use the little tiny end. You just place it, kind of stir it, okay? And then you just lift that up, and then you can place that. Let's see, where shall I place it? Well, I can't really place it. I'll just place it on top of one of her other ones. I don't want to mess up her card. There we go. And it just makes that process of placing and picking up those little jewels really easy. So definitely, I'll put these in the products used down below. All right, now we've got, let's see, oh yes, this one is the Mystic Birds. I had to look. Mystic Birds on black cardstock. Isn't that gorgeous? So Debbie covered her 5 by 6.5 inch card with black cardstock, and then she stamped on the Stampin' White cardstock from Hunky Dory, and she colored those using tri-blend markers. If you want to know which colors that she used on this particular card, just look below our video, and there's a photo of the card, and you click on that, and it'll give you all the supplies that she used on there. So cute. And then she cut out all of those flowers using her tiny little scissors, and she actually stamped the greeting right here using a gold embossing powder, so it's got a little bit of a texture, and I love how that looks with the black. She even put them, some of these flowers have foam tape under them to give them a little bit of lift, a little bit of layering there. Some are glued directly to the surface and some are foam taped. Very, very pretty. All right, so this last card that Debbie made, this is from Mystic Wings. Isn't that beautiful? And this is a slimline card, so this is 8.5 by 3.5 inches. She used the Stampin' White cardstock here, and then she also used, these are Pixie Sparkles, and she used the color Teal Marine, Coral Crush, and Pale Blush, rather. I'm going to show you how she applied that. There's actually a couple of ways to do that, but she colored her beautiful butterflies. She stamped each one twice, okay? And then she cut each of them out. Well, first she colored them with tri-blend markers. Then she cut them out and then glued one down, and the other one just glued the body with a little bit of foam tape. So look at that. They just lift up. So this one does not lift up. This one does. Look at that. So beautiful, the dimension there. Really beautiful. Okay, so let me show you how she did this. There's actually 2 ways to use Pixie Sparkles. Well, 3 actually. Here we go. So I'm going to take some cardstock here. And the first way is you can take Pixie Sparkles and you can just sprinkle this directly onto the cardstock. That. Just an assortment of colors. All right, and then you take a mister with just clean water and you mist that. You don't want to get too close because the first mist will have everything flying. So kind of up a little higher, and then once it's gotten a little wet, you can get a little closer. And then this is where Debbie stopped, right there on hers. So it's still a little granular-y. It's still got that kind of a texture to it, and if you touch it when it's dry, it has just almost like a kind of a sugary texture to that. And you can even add a little bit more sprinkle at this point. You can do layers, okay? So that's one way to do that. Another way to do that is you can take your water brush and you can actually paint with it. So you could paint butterflies. You just take a little bit of water and a little bit of the powder on your brush, and then you can paint with it. A very versatile medium. Okay, or there's another way you can do it. This way is where you're using the surface and you want to use something that's plastic, like a craft mat or something. Debbie actually used, I want to bring out the exact thing that she uses, and that is a glass cutting mat. Okay. Oh, right here. And this is fantastic for cutting on or for doing your projects on, and it cleans up so beautifully. So what you do is you just sprinkle directly onto the surface. Got a little clog in it. This powder is so fine. Huh, what's going on there? Uh-oh, my little thing is kind of clogged here. And we'll do it this way. There we go. It's still clogged. I'm going to have to do a little surgery on that. All right, so this one, kind of mix around that. And we have the teal. All right, now we're going to actually mist the surface of the glass or the mat here. And you want to add, on this technique, quite a bit of water. Now we're going to take the cardstock and we're going to set that right there. You'll notice this is going to give you an entirely different look. Very watercolory, okay? Really, really mystical-y and watercolory. And what's great about this, you can just kind of keep adding that and just keep, you could add a little bit more directly to this. This point, just like that, and kind of combine those looks. Go. Isn't that cool? All right, so let's clean this up. So you guys definitely check out the Money Saver for these stamps. All the products that I used, this glass mat, the brushes, the pixie sparkles, everything is listed down below the video. Okay, so definitely check that out. If you're watching us on YouTube, no worries, we've got a link below our video. So you can just follow that to Paper Wishes. And hey, subscribe. We do 3 to 5 of these videos a week. So you don't want to miss any of those, so definitely check us out. There we go. So thanks for joining me today, you guys, and I'll see you next time.